I'm a degenerate alcoholic.
I'm Patrick Fitzgerald.
And you're watching Examining the Expanse. So we open straight up with Anne and Amos. They've captured Melba and they realise that she was the saboteur and she's framed the Rossi and exploded the ship and all this. And yeah, Amos's first response is, well, we should shoot her. And Anne's like, no. And then he's like, I can get Alex to administer an overdose.
You're not gonna shoot her.
Well, what if I override the auto doc to do an overdose? It'll be painless.
No.
Oh man, he's always full of helpful suggestions, isn't he? That's why we love Behemoth.
Well, he's trying to solve the problem. We're the saboteur, she fucked us over. He's gonna fuck us over
so
again.
So she can die.
Yeah. I love Amos and Anne pinned against each other too. They're like complete polar opposites ideologically.
But there's like, they sort of like...
Well, they have like chemistry, right?
Yeah, they play off each other really well.
She is like the uber empathetic pastor who is all people skills, and then he's the blunt killing instrument with zero empathy who has zero understanding of people's skills, and then they put them together and they have these interesting discussions.
That's such an excellent pairing, right?
Yeah, they play off each other.
I want to scare up some food. You want any?
I'm gonna be here for a while.
You know he's dead, right?
I do.
There's even this part later on where Anne is stressing her like fucking naive hippie ideology about fucking humankind and conflict and violence.
Well, she's also having like a semi-existential crisis about dying, right?
Yeah, well, she's got the whole religion, death, Catholic shame thing, and they're like in the eye of the universe and in this fucking hellscape of death and despair where like thousands of people have just brutally lost their lives. And then she meets this blunt killing instrument that's just going around destroying everything. But yeah, she is right. She says that everyone is just trying to do the right thing and the good thing, and they're just all...
And you can't hold on to hate forever. It's totally true. Yeah. Absolutely. Yep.
On every side of this are people who have no reason to hate each other. Everyone here thinks they're doing the right thing. Everyone there thinks they're doing the right thing. If we get out of this, we have to find a way to understand each other, to explain why we made the choices that we did. It is the only way that we can let go of the hate.
Peace and love.
That should be the moral. That's the moral of the story.
All you need is love. All you need is love. Don't just sing anymore, we'll have to pay the Beatles.
Fucking copyright strike.
Yeah, Ashford in the book, he barely shows up. He's like in the background. He doesn't get any point of view chapters. He's just like a barrier for Holden and everyone to buck their heads against. But yeah, in the show they really go into like this way of making him an actual character, and they give him depth and nuance. And he is the villain in this end scene, but he's also good. And as Anne says, he's trying to do what he thinks is right, and he's trying to save everyone and do the right thing.
This is a classic conflict that normally I have issues with, right? And I've talked about this specific type of conflict before in relation to, you know, possibly poor writing, right?
Yeah.
But in this instance, it's absolutely not. Again, right, you've got, not only, it's interesting, right? So we've already set up sort of Ashford's past and all that sort of stuff, and what it reeks to me of is him sort of resetting into the way that he would operate like a pirate boat.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like fucking, like, you know, it's like he's figured out what to do to solve the scenario, and he's gonna fucking do it.
Yeah.
Right? And, you know, he's rightly unsure about Holden.
Yeah.
You know, he's rightly, like, skeptical of him.
Well, yeah, Holden's a crazy person.
And even though, and this is where normally it falls down, right, is that the antagonist of the conflict acknowledges the points made by Holden. Right? Oh, well, you know, everything Holden is saying is basically coming true.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Like the thing's a weapon and it burns solar systems, and he acknowledges all of that.
Yeah.
Right, but
his
still,
solution
Yeah,
is
yeah.
to cut it off and trap them and stop it all.
And he only walks up to a certain point and then dismisses what Holden says, and it's really complicated because it's like the burden of leadership, the burden of everybody's like lives. Well, the humanity's lives on his shoulders, right? That's what he thinks he's trying to save.
Yeah,
and all that sort of stuff. So you can rightly, and you know, he's not surrounded by Drummer or Naomi or whatever.
Yeah, he's been separated from all the other voices of reason.
Yeah,
and he's
right.
like hearing them intermittently through screens.
And
they're talking about crazy shit and ghosts.
On the opposing side with Holden.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So you know that already makes it hard for him to.
Yeah. So yeah, it's not your black and white. Good versus evil. We got these two sides who are both right or both wrong or both good and nuanced and depthful. Holden is right in the end.
The Behemoth's comm laser is the most powerful ever built, and I propose we make it even more so, and use it to slice through the ring and destroy it, and cut the station off from our homes.
Like to trap us all here forever.
No one on the other side would ever know what we did.
And we will have saved the human race. Not a bad way to die.
But yeah, I love the Holden dynamic too, because it's much like Paul in Dune, where Herbert was making like a commentary on the leader archetype, and Paul isn't the chosen one. He turns out to be a Mentat and fucking Mardib and Liaz.
Oh well, he could have been the chosen one.
Well, apparently Herbert said like he in the end was a false leader, and he averted like the jihad and all that.
Well, it was his failure of will to carry out to move forward along the path.
Yeah,
which you learn later in the book, books and stuff.
And
anyway.
then later the second follows the golden path.
Woohoo!
Yeah, so a tyrannical leader who everyone's following. And Holden is exactly the same in the book. He's not the chosen one. He's not special. It just so happens that when Eros exploded,
he was there.
Yeah, and Miller liked Holden, so that little fucking scrap of protomolecule on the Rossi, random happenstance, and then Miller's essence being there, Miller's like, oh, Holden. So he gets all this horrible responsibility.
He's the reluctant hero.
Yeah. As the brutal ego death moments, he's the destruction of everything, and he's trying to tell everyone, and carrying the burden of all the death and despair that's happened within this thing.
He's carrying the same sort of burden as Ashford is. He's carrying the exact same burden, right? They're just carrying it from two different perspectives, and ultimately Holden has more information.
Yeah.
You're not responsible for this.
Yes, I am. It's talking to me. It's not talking to anyone else. I wish it would, but it's not. I have to figure out what it wants. I'm the only one who can.
This is going to destroy you.
It doesn't matter. I have to fix it.
It's about responsibility. The archetypical leader and the responsibilities that fall on their shoulders. You can't win.
No, that's right. Yeah, well, so he can't. His own convictions don't allow him to not do anything about it. One of the best parts of the finale is when Pierre Mao's daughter ends up in the cell, and she's overhearing Holden and Naomi, and it's just. She doesn't have to say a fucking thing, right? It's just her reactions, like to the breaking of the facade that she's built up of what Holden is. Just completely fucking shatters. Her entire worldview just totally shatters.
Which she's been seeing him through the lens of the media and like this celebrity.
And what he did to her family and
and then like she's like, oh, this guy has a lot going on here.
There's a lot more going on than I thought was going on.
And then she has this great character arc and redemption. She in the end is one of the main factors that helps turn off the reactor and save the day.
And again, it's not convoluted.
No, they build up to all these beautiful like character moments, set up her character, set up her ideology, her motivations and everything. Then she gets a moment of realization, that works, because we've also seen what Holden's been through. And then, yeah, in the end, she chooses to fuck everyone up and save the day. So, character arcs.
Yeah, it's so...
Are you listening, Star Trek Picard? Character arcs.
No, we don't talk about Star Trek.
We shouldn't.
No. Excellently executed, just that aspect of it, just that particular aspect of that character.
It's always nice when it's like a random character that you don't expect that has a big part in it too, like Neville Longbottom killed the snake with the sword. I don't know Harry Potter, but you know when it's not Holden or fucking Naomi or Amos saving the day, it's fucking Clarissa Mao.
Well, it's, everybody has a role to play. That's kind of the point.
Yeah, and there is so much going on. They set up this situation, right, with the reactors all need to be shut off so the station doesn't see them as a threat, which is also like a great premise. It's not like, we need to explode the thing in the middle. We need to shoot bomber and go. Well, that's what some people think they need to do. But yeah, the solution is, they're observing this alien entity and they come to the realization that if they turn off all the reactors, it will no longer see them as a threat and let them go.
Well, it's What's Her Face. That's also ties into What's Her Face's monologue to Amos about hate and all that sort of stuff and violence and everything, right? That's the overarching theme of the episode.
It's a message. But in the end, violence is not the way.
The ticking clock element of the episode, which is the station powering up, is also interesting because it is powering up, right? So there is a ticking clock element, but it's being accelerated by Ashford's actions. Yes. But he watches it happen every time he does something and takes that as a sign that he's running out of time. Right. So that also adds to the burden. Right. Is that they've got limited time. So again, like normally in a conflict like this, it would be like, well, why don't you just try turning the things off? Well, what have you got to lose? But what you have to lose is if Ashford's right. Then everything to lose, so that it works. That works, and it's tension, and it's excellent.
Once again, you have all the individual storylines that are building with the ticking clock element, and I have to praise the editing and pacing once again. Like, how many intercutting different little story pieces do we have by the end? We have like Gunny and the fucking MCRN Marines.
Well, that reaches its peak, right? Is her inability to reintegrate back as how she was into the Marines.
Well, it's funny because in the book she's not here at all after her whole court-martialing thing. She quits and she's sitting on the couch in the unemployment line. And Jasper and I were kind of critical of her presence up until this point, but having her in the finale here brings so much more.
It works really well.
Yeah, the inter-character drama with her and Alex, and then that great narrative beat with Amos just blowing that guy's head apart. So her presence, it just fills out the complexity of all these different pieces happening, and they're just all intercutted and paced perfectly for the perfect crescendo. It builds, right? It's like a Tool song or a Pink Floyd song, like prog rock, how you build slowly, all like Mozart or classical. It all builds and flows perfectly. Like, you could get all these pieces on the raw cutting room floor and just make it a fucking mess.
It could easily be a mess.
Like a nightmare. They're just jarring. It doesn't work, but it cuts and flows perfectly. So it's like,
well, it's like, you set up the premise, right?
Which they clearly and concisely explain at the beginning. We need to turn off the reactors. I'm shooting a laser to stop.
And then like the music starts moving, and we set up our character. We put our characters on the board, right? We've got our groups that are assembling, right? We clearly, and it's all the shots of Ashford leaning on the wide shot in him in the control room, like leaning on the thing, looking at it all over the screen. It keeps it'll cut to our groups, planning and taking action and moving and and then all cut to him and he's trying to gain control of the situation and put opposition in front of them. And it's it's sort of like a chessboard, and not only are we cutting and moving forward our various groups to their goals, but we're also resolving inter-character conflicts, right?
Tying off fucking
like Holden and Naomi reconciling over the course of time, and
Melba gets her redemption and saves the day after realizing that she was being bitter and spiteful. And it gets all these fucking emotional beats. So there's a lot going on.
We even resolved the little thing with Amos and the camera lady, and the death of the camera guy, and how that was basically that wasn't Amos's fault, right? But we resolved it,
I got a comment as well in a previous episode. We talked about there being no resolution with the follow-up.
That's true.
To that. And the comment was basically that by the time they got back to the UN ship, they're on the fucking...
I think they went to the Mars ship, right?
The slow zone thing happened, and old man got cut in half by the door, and by the time they got there,
no one gave a shit.
It's that doesn't fucking matter. We have fucking complete chaos.
That's fair. That's fair. I pay that.
10,000 people bouncing off bulkheads.
Boom! All the sets you mentioned, all the sets with all the blood, everywhere. It's
some great sharpened edges and corners of balconies and railings that are just covered in
someone's
blood.
just smashed their head and gone.
And Drummer in this, she gets her robotic legs, and the practical costume or whatever you'd call it is really cool and really effective, and it's all practical and it walks with her. But in the book there was this whole nother character who they kind of split off in the show into Ashford and Drummer, and his name was Bull. He got those robotic legs. And he was on the Behemoth, and he was the security officer, and he was kind of trying to deal with
I'm not gonna let this madman fucking do whatever he's gonna do.
But Ashford very much was just a two-dimensional fucking...
That's interesting. It's interesting, Normally you'd sit here and try and sort of nitpick at the differences between the books, but it's actually more interesting what they have changed,
Well, there's a lot of things in the show that are fucking a lot better than the book. I don't think anyone has ever said this ever, but I think the show is better than the book.
That's funny.
It's fucking crazy.
I like that.
It's really cool too, because the novelists, they wrote the books, a decade ago, and now they wrote this, so they get to look back upon their work and say, we can tweak these things. So that's really interesting. Getting the original people.
Are they consistently advising the show?
They're on the writers' room. They write fucking 3 or 4 episodes a season.
That's excellent.
And the finales and big fucking plot beats. So they know the fucking world, man.
I know what's going on.
They got the fucking A-team. And spoilers possibly for season 5.
Rumor spoilers.
Rumors. Belinda R, someone who comments quite often on these videos.
Actually, should you say skip to here?
Yes, skip to this.
I pointed
different places. This time code if you don't want to hear potential season 5 spoilers. Apparently, she got to look at the casting call, and this won't mean much to you because you haven't read the books. But Bull apparently is going to be in season 5.
Okay.
Yeah, which is really cool because I wasn't horribly where is he? He should be in the show. But it's a nice little touch for fans. This character that you spent all this fucking time with, 22 hours, he is going to be possibly in season 5 in some way, shape or form, which is interesting.
Okay, that's cool. There you go.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I don't remember Diago, that fucking face tattoo guy. I don't remember him dying here, but I guess he's dead, eh? He gets collected by that elevator.
You sure we don't see him later?
I don't think he's in season 4, right? I think this is it. He was in the books and then he stopped being in the books.
Okay.
So yeah, maybe they're like, he doesn't have a part to play and just like, I don't know.
I feel like I
this
remember him floating around, in the next season.
Possibly.
Yeah.
I can't definitely say he's not in it.
Yeah.
But I mean, he got wrecked. And it's just a moment I don't remember.
That's
like
a bit
when
of a
I rewatched
shame.
it, I'm like, Jesus.
We've been with him since way in the beginning.
Yeah, like season 1.
He's had some fucking
He's gone through some shit. Well, yeah, he went from like the punk kid to like now he's running security on the Behemoth.
Yeah, on the fucking Behemoth.
I love that moment when Ashford gets him doing. He's like, "Are there medical supplies that have been stolen? I don't know. What the fuck not? Belters, do your fucking job."
Yeah.
We are trapped in the black and fighting for our lives. So make no mistake, everything we do here is to buy one more chance to live, one more breath. So do your fucking job, or I will space you myself.
It's such a great moment. So yeah, I guess the only other thing to talk about is the fucking ending.
It's it's funny. It's funny. The actual. You could almost say that like all the portals and stuff opening up, and the new frontier and the monologue that Holden gives. You could almost argue that that's the show's just beginning now.
It very much feels like a premise for a series. Like, what, this is season 3, it's at the end of book 3. But yeah, it just comes out and like it just completely changes the fabric and the formula of the show. And you're like, what the fuck? I remember when I first watched it, I was high as fuck and I was like on my knees in the laundry, I'm like, what? What is going on? Oh my god, I can't believe it. Because I just thought they'd undo everything, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the season.
Yeah, they'd go out and then they'd sort of leave
You
it.
undo everything. Well, we solved the problem, the ring's closed, and
it's
we'll never
closed.
see it again. What's next for Holden and the crew? But no, it's like 1,300 inhabited worlds have just fucking opened
It's
up.
like fucking Stargate now.
It's fucking Stargate.
It's like the new frontier opens up and like so now their thing is going through the gates and checking out the planets and figuring out the mystery.
Well, yeah, what do they say? It's going to be a brand new blood-soaked gold rush as all the Belters.
Which is exactly
Martians.
what it was. Well, it hasn't even
It hasn't even begun.
Yeah, but like after season 4, it's like barely kicked off. It's already like a disaster.
All the cultural impacts of everyone leaving Mars. And all the Belters.
It changes the entire like setting. Completely.
Yeah.
It's setting, and that would be you could be so easily annoyed by it it opening up. And then, everything like back in the solar system remains like basically the same. That could
that wouldn't be good story writing.
No.
But instead, like Mars's fucking economy completely drops out as everyone floods from it, and nothing for them to do. And the Belters all start going in there and mining. And Earth's like, you can't go in there and take this. They're like, fuck you, we're Belters, we do what we want. Refugees jump in the border into this fucking planet world.
It just has a huge snowball effect, and it's so funny. It's so interesting of a direction to go after you've like resolved that conflict that's been building up, right?
You resolve the conflict, then you leave this bigger conflict at play. And it also goes into all this other stuff with like Holden and the proto-molecule and these gate builders and the past and the destruction of all these worlds and all that mystery.
Which again is like, first it's the molecule being used as a weapon, then it's the molecule as like a solar system destroying weapon. And it's like the molecule as like the gate builders and the enemy that they were trying to face, and the legacy that they left behind. And
it's really interesting how the proto-molecule evolves. Because you look at the White Walkers, they're the White Walkers, right? In the first season, the proto-molecule is this virus, this deadly infection where it's like a pandemic that everyone's trying to avoid. In the second season, it's like transforms into this like horror monster. You get all these physical beings. In the third season, it's a portal into a new fucking world. In the fourth season, it's like this monolithical god emperor of mystery that's unfolding.
It's like a stepping. In the fourth one, it's revealed that it's actually a stepping stone into the larger context of what's going on.
Yeah, it's like nothing stays fluid in this show. Everything is just like constantly
escalating.
Yeah.
Which is it's
refreshing.
It's lovely how smooth it all is. How smoothly we're just moving, and we're escalating, and we're going, you know.
Yeah. Well, everyone on the show appears to completely love it and care for it and be working hard. All the set designers and cinematography and the writers obviously wrote the books, and all the other people on the writing team. I know the fucking actors are very involved. Yeah, it's just refreshing to see something that's like well written and complex, but still like fulfilling and emotionally rewarding.
Yeah, and you know, I just don't have anything to pick apart at it.
I mean, I'm sure there are things.
I'm sure there are things that you can pick apart.
It's like picking apart like Dark Side of the Moon. Like,
it's
good.
How dare you? How dare you try and pick apart Dark Side of the Moon?
Nah, Steve. On track 6 when they open, I can hear a slight bit of tape buzz. Well, that tape buzz was meant to be there. That actually snap my vinyl, throw it out the window. So yeah, in conclusion, once again, The Expanse manages to
exceed expectations.
Yeah. Assemble this incredibly complex narrative with all these different moving parts that not only ends in a satisfying conclusion, but then opens up the show into a whole different realm.
Yeah. Yay!
Expanse.
You're one of those assholes that stands up and claps after a movie.
Pretty sure I did do that one movie. I don't know what movie it was.
I remember we did that with Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship, when we saw it. Like when I was a kid, everybody stood up and clapped.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because
I think I tried to do it at the end of The Hateful Eight, but it was like you, I, and Jasper in the cinema and it was empty.
Yeah, because no one gives a shit. Everybody left after the second hour.
Oh, they didn't want to see some chick strung up by her neck on the big screen.
I love it.
Alright, thank you all for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, blah blah blah, bleep.
Smash that subscribe button!
Obligatory YouTube saying thing at the end of video. Support the channel or don't. I don't care, man. You live your life.
You do care.
I'll live my life.
You care. You have like an existential crisis about people just
every time I lose a sub.
Yeah. A little piece of your soul leaves your body.
Then when I get a new one, it doesn't come back.
No, yeah, that's it. It's good for a
shadow piece of my psyche. Good night.